everyone, I'm Umihani and here is my first video on how to cultivate the habit of reading. Thanks to all the people who encouraged and motivated me to start my own YouTube channel. So as a person, I just love reading books. But unfortunately, I have not been reading books from the past 6 months now due to my busy work schedule. But this lockdown has actually given me a great opportunity to start reading books again. But you know what I realized during this lockdown period while I was reading books is that my concentration level is not the same right now. Now just imagine, if this is the case with me for a person who is so fond of reading books, what would be the case of people who are not even fond of reading books? In fact, I know a lot of my friends and my colleagues who are just allergic towards reading books. So if you are also a person who is allergic towards reading books, it's absolutely all right. Because we have always been forced to read books right from our childhood without even knowing the reason why we should be reading books. I'm sure all of us would have been at least questioned once in our lifetime that, do you read books? Oh my God, you don't read books? And then comes all the reasonings. You know what? You should start reading books. It's such a great habit, you know? But unfortunately, no one actually talks about why we should read books. To begin with, I would like to quote from my favorite author and motivational speaker, Simon Sinek, who talks about why it is important to perform a task and not how it should be performed. Because all the people in the world will tell you how to do a task, but no one actually talks about why you should be doing that task. The day you get to know the why, trust me, that is the day your interest towards that activity will start increasing. So let me start with the why first. In today's world, we are so much hooked to technology that our brain has actually stopped working because every single information is readily available on Google. Reading increases our imagination and our creativity level to an extent that our brain is forced to imagine the scenes which our eyes cannot see. I'm sure that all of us would have faced this issue wherein you cannot concentrate for a very long time, maybe in a training session or something like that. In fact, we can't even concentrate when a person is talking to us. Reading sorts this issue out because now our brain is forced to think in a sequence. So I'm sure that all of you must be wondering that all of this is fine, but then how do I start reading? So here I have 10 tips for all of you on how to cultivate this beautiful habit. Now please note that all of the tips that I'm going to share with you is not just tested on me during the lockdown, but it is also tested on a lot of people that I know. So if these tips can work on us, then it can definitely work on you as well. First tip, select your subject of interest. As a beginner, do not just go randomly with what people suggest you, because people generally recommend you the books that they like. For example, I love reading biographies and fictions. So if you ask me, I will probably recommend you books related to biographies and fictions. It's not important that even you will like the same book. So you need to pick up your subject of interest. Maybe what you can probably do is relate your books to movies. What kind of movies do you like to watch? Do you like to watch comedy movies, horror movies, suspense movies? You can pick up books which are similar to these categories as well. Second tip, take baby steps. Start with 10 minutes of reading a day and eventually start increasing your reading time once you get used to it. Third tip is to stay disciplined and committed. Ensure that you do not skip your reading time. Just fix a reading time in a day and at least stick on for the first 40 days. Fourth tip is to keep yourself away from all the distractions in the house. I know it's going to be difficult, but you have to stay committed and keep yourself away, especially from social media and your mobile phones. Fifth tip is to start with a book which is very thin and very light. Even a pocket-sized book would do. You know, the reason why I recommend you to start with a book which is thin and light is because you can continue this habit of reading wherever you go. So let me just give you an example. The biggest mistake that as beginners all of us do is we generally pick up a book which is as thick as this. Now this book which I have in my hand is a great book, but it is for people who are used to this habit of reading, not for beginners. So what I would recommend for people who have just started reading is a book which is something like this. This is very thin and very light. It can easily fit in your handbags and you can continue your habit of reading. Sixth tip, If you have kids at home, then start reading storybook to your kids. But ensure that you're reading the book with a lot of facial expressions, hand gestures, and a lot of enthusiasm and energy. This will not only increase your imagination power, but it will also increase the interest of the child. And one thing is very important. Ensure that you are sitting in the most favorite corner of your house while you are reading books. Seventh tip. Please ensure that you're not going to spend a lot of money initially on books. I would recommend that you can even start with used books to begin with, because it's something like, you always start with, an old car when you are learning driving. And then you reward yourself with a brand new car once you have learned from the old car. Right? So books are also something similar to that. But during this pandemic, what I've observed is that ebooks have become extremely famous. Though I'm not a very big fan of ebooks, but I would recommend all of you to start with ebooks, at least during this pandemic, because it's a great way to start with. Eighth tip. Make reading a pleasure. Make an amazing and a hot cup of tea or coffee or your favorite drink and sip it while you're reading books. Trust me, this will make you feel so relaxed and so energetic that you would love to continue this habit for a lifetime. Ninth tip is to set realistic goals. Maybe you can start with one book in 2 months or something like that, and just ensure that you're going to increase this target as you get used to this habit. 10th tip, and the last tip but not the least tip, is to be kind to yourself. Every time you find that you have achieved your target, just start gifting yourself with small and simple gifts. You know what I generally do is I start gifting myself with these small little bookmarks, if you can see here. These are such beautiful bookmarks, and every time I look at them, I feel so motivated. So these were my 10 tips on how to cultivate this beautiful habit of book reading. If you found this video helpful, do like, comment, subscribe, and share my video. And if you have anything, in mind that you would like to know, and just put it up in the comment box, and I would love to make a video for you guys. So all the best with your new habit. Take care, stay safe, and happy learning.